Throughout NBA history, each and every team in the league has gone through a plethora of changes in an effort to win a championship. Almost always beginning their journey in the league as a rebuilding team, making the most out of their assets, the front office hopes to acquire a young group of players throughout the draft who could potentially lead their organization to an NBA title. As of the 2024 NBA season, we have plenty of franchises currently in that rebuilding position, with others on the path to lifting the Larry O'Brien trophy at the same time. But in today's video, we're going to be pressing the reset button and completely change the course of the NBA and the teams that reside in it, and find out who can win an NBA championship. And yeah, as you can see here, the Philadelphia 76ers, they look a little bit different, and that's because in order for us to reset the league, the first and really only thing we had to do was begin the season with the fantasy draft, which for those of you that don't already know, it's basically just the NBA draft but a lot longer, and it includes everyone that's already in the league. So yeah, for that reason we have Paul George, Jalen Green, D'Angelo Russell, and Jalen Johnson a part of the Sixers roster. So I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that Philly more than likely didn't get a top 12 pick. I would say probably around that range though, because they have PG. And also I just noticed they have Russell Westbrook, so this would be the third time that these two are teammates. And alright, up next we have the Milwaukee Bucks, who yet again for whatever reason still have Giannis Antetokounmpo, but now they have Jalen Suggs, Amin Thompson, Jeremy Grant. So this is arguably a way better team than the one that they have in real life, because they probably have a lot more depth, but I will say they are definitely lacking in veteranship. The closest thing to it would be Giannis himself and Jeremy Grant. So maybe here at some point in the future they will end up making a big trade, because I have the CPU set to where it can make any deals that it wants to. And up next we have the Chicago Bulls with LaMelo Ball, DeMar DeRozan, and Draymond Green. I just noticed they also have Zach LaVine. That's actually like kind of crazy that that's the pairing that we ended up getting yet again. And so I guess instead of having Lonzo, this team has his brother instead. And I just noticed also Brook Lopez is on the team with Chris Paul. So I'm not gonna lie to you, I think that this team could potentially be really good, because Zach LaVine, for whatever reason, his overall is set to 83. Now I kind of understand that because he hasn't really played this season, so we don't really, I guess the 2K devs kind of forgot how good this man is. So I would definitely keep an eye on this team just in case they end up making a playoff run. But up next it's the Cleveland Cavaliers with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Rudy Gobert, Josh Giddey, and Tobias Harris. I just noticed like there are so many repeats. We keep getting players who have played on the same team together yet again. Tim Hardaway and Bones Highland are also here as well. But you know what, let me check out the next team, who of course is the Boston Celtics. We have Luka Doncic, Desmond Bane, Mikal Bridges, and Robert Williams. And if we scroll down even further, we also have guys like Buddy Hield and Ben Simmons. That's going to be kind of nice having Buddy Hield on the team since he can space the floor. And heading over to the Los Angeles Clippers, my team has John Morant, Julius Randle, and DeAndre Ayton. You know what, I can't even really be mad at this. We also made sure to bring in some veteranship with Kyle Lowry, Harrison Barnes, and Kevin Love. I don't really know if we're going to be a playoff team, but we are definitely going to be really nice. And heading over to Memphis, we have Zion Williamson, Derek, and Kobe White. With this most recent 2K update, Derek White got buffed to an 87 overall, so he's going to be a really nice defensive and scoring threat on this team, and hopefully he gets a lot more opportunities over here since he was playing in Boston. And the Atlanta Hawks, this team is not really that good at all, but they do have Chet Holmgren, which I guess that's pretty nice. And the Miami Heat have Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, and Jalen Duren. If I was the general manager of this franchise, I would be kind of looking at some Jalen Duren trades just to see if you can get a potential all-star to pair alongside these two, but you'll probably have to group someone like Jordan Clarkson alongside him just so you can get the contracts to match. And let's have a look at the Charlotte Hornets. They have Jaylen Brown, Damian Lillard, Keegan Murray, and Jaden Ivey. And yeah, there's not really much to say about this team, but maybe Dame can carry them to the playoffs somehow, just because, well, we've seen him do that before in real life. And making our way over to Utah, we have Kevin Durant, Jared Allen, and Anthony Simons. I'm not gonna lie to you, if I'm Kevin Durant, I would not be very satisfied with this team because it doesn't have 3 other Hall of Famers, but also because this squad is like really young. I mean, they do have Jaime Jaquez Jr. and Caleb Martin, which, you know, I'm pretty sure those guys will be solid for them. But outside of that, I would be pretty disappointed if I was KD. And also, he's wearing number 44. And heading over to Sacramento, here's Joel Embiid playing alongside Tyler Hero and RJ Barrett. Yet again, we have another great player who's not on the best team in the world, but maybe they can make something work. But up next, we have New York with De'Aaron Fox and Bam Adebayo. To be honest, I would not be too disappointed in this roster if I was a New York fan, because I can imagine everyone on this team fitting and molding together really, really well. And on the bright side, they also got to keep Josh Hart, which is pretty nice. But the Los Angeles Lakers, well, LeBron has returned yet again. I was kind of hoping that he end up playing for Miami or Cleveland, but we didn't see that earlier. But he's also playing alongside Jaren Jackson Jr. And you know, I'm getting some serious 2019 Laker vibes from this. But I mean, they're definitely a lot better than what that team was, just because the other one was so young. But I can't really imagine them making the playoffs, but I'm hoping that they prove me wrong. And the Orlando Magic have Jason Tatum, Cameron Thomas, and Brandon Miller. That doesn't really sound too appealing to me. The Dallas Mavericks with Anthony Davis and Bradley Beal. Again, that doesn't really sound too great, but you know, they might make something work. And having a look at the Brooklyn Nets, here we have DeMontis Sabonis and DeJounte Murray. Now, don't get me wrong, those names aren't really too eye-popping, but I feel like they would actually work together really, really well. And all right, how about the Denver Nuggets? We have Paolo Banchero and Brandon Ingram. Oh wait, I just realized they also have Darius Garland. So this team would definitely win a ring if we simulated like 3, 4, or 5 years in the future. As long as they can keep those three main pieces together, they will absolutely end up winning a ring. Just, you know, more than likely it's not going to happen this season. But the Indiana Pacers have Jimmy Butler, Evan Mobley, and Herb Jones. As a fellow Indiana citizen, I'm not really too disappointed in this roster construction, just because the defense seems like it's going to be pretty nice, and we do have some spark plugs like Norman Powell. But I don't really know how confident I am in them making the playoffs. But the New Orleans Pelicans have Devin Booker and Alperen Sengun. And after that, we have the Detroit Pistons with Victor Wembanyama, Kay Cunningham, and Aaron Gordon. So this is really just what the Pistons wanted to happen this season, but you know, obviously San Antonio ended up winning the draft that year. And this is definitely one of those teams that's not going to be contending anytime soon, but they will definitely pull out with a couple of championships in the future. And heading up north to Toronto, we have Jalen Williams and Franz Wagner. I mean, this dude, Jalen Williams, I mean, he's been an absolute beast for his age, and he's only 6'5", playing the power forward position. Maybe he's a little bit taller, and 2K just got a little bit inaccurate, but that's what they have him listed as, so maybe they are correct. And the Houston Rockets with Kyrie Irving and Jamal Murray. And to be honest, I feel like this group of players is going to be super underrated. As long as they make the playoffs, I can definitely see them going on a postseason run, especially since they have Jonathan Isaac and Miles Turner. Those are two really good defenders. But here we have the San Antonio Spurs with Stephen Curry, Kristaps Porzingis, and Bobby Portis. Oh yeah, this team is definitely going to be nice. Who's on the bench? We have Brandon Post. Okay, I can't read that. We have Precious Achua, Isaiah Joe, Max Strus, Kevon Looney. So this is kind of just like the Warriors. This is kind of just like the Warriors team that we have now, but instead of like Clay and Draymond, we have Tingus Pingus and Bobby Portis. And heading over to Phoenix, here we have Nikola Jokic, James Harden, Colin Sexton, and Lou Dort. Oh yeah, this team is this is my favorite one at all right here, primarily due to the fact that James Harden is he's definitely a lot better than what his overall says. And I mean, the amount of depth that this squad has as well, I mean, dude, this is going to be absolutely nuts. But the OKC Thunder have Tyrese Maxey, Lauri Markkanen. Which team is next? We have Minnesota with Kawhi Leonard and Trae Young. But let's see, the Portland Trailblazers now have a replacement for Damian Lillard. And I just realized with Tyrese, they also have Pascal Siakam. So just think of the Pacers, but you know, instead of playing in Indiana, they're over there in Portland. And our second to last team, we have Donovan Mitchell, Scotty Barnes, and Nicholas Claxton. Yeah, this team's going to be nice as well. And last but not least, here we have Anthony Edwards, Michael Porter Jr., and Drew Holiday. I feel like I'm going to forget that this team even exists and they're somehow going to make a conference finals or something like that, because I'm sure since Anthony Edwards just got a buff in the most recent patch, he's now a 95 overall, so he's probably nuts in simulation. And not only that, but he also has a really nice well-rounded team around him as well. But outside of that, that is really all the teams that we have to go over. And really the only thing we could do at this point is simulate to the All-Star break and see how all the teams are doing so far. And over here in the Eastern Conference, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers, Boston Celtics, and Indiana Pacers as their top 3 seeds. And having a look at Cleveland, I don't believe they made any sort of adjustments to their roster. I'm pretty sure they just kept it all the same. But from the jump, they were looking really good, and I'm glad they picked up Shea, because I mean, he seems like he would be a solid workaround with Rudy Gobert clogging the paint. And I'm sure this came to nobody's surprise, but the Celtics, you know, they are really good. And I noticed that they traded for Chris Middleton, so we're going to have to go over to Atlanta and see who they traded for. And let's see, who was it? Was it really Emmanuel Quickly? No, he was already here. Devin Vassell was already here as well. Malcolm Brogdon. Yeah, I mean, I have no idea. Who did they trade in order to get, what's his face? Oh, it was actually Onyeka Okongwu. So, I mean, that was probably a solid trade for them. I'm not really too sure because that does push Mikal or Chris Middleton to the bench. And also, they don't really have that many power forwards slash centers. So, I might have to move someone like Ben Simmons to one of those positions. And you know what? If we placed him at power forward, that might be better for them. And here as the third seed, we have the Indiana Pacers. Again, I don't really think this team made any sort of trades. More or less, it looks pretty much the exact same as what I remember it to be. I'm pretty sure I said that this team more than likely wasn't going to make the playoffs, or they were going to have a hard time getting in. So they definitely proved me wrong in that regard. But in fourth place, we have New York. Who is on this team again? I kind of forgot. Oh yeah, that's right. We have De'Aaron Fox and Bam Adebayo. And Milwaukee, we all know that they have Giannis. The Miami Heat, I forget who's a part of this team. It was actually Jalen Brunson, Jordan Clarkson, and Karl Anthony Towns. And you know what? Who is at the bottom? We had the Philadelphia 76ers. This team has Paul George. No, bro. I don't want to see Paul George out of the playoffs. And I mean, having a look at the roster, it does kind of make sense. But I mean, they only won, what, 14 games? So that's really disappointing. And making our way over to the Western Conference, we have the Sacramento Kings, Phoenix Suns, and Los Angeles Lakers. And here yet again, we have Sacramento. This team has Joel Embiid. I'm surprised he's not averaging like 35 and 12 instead of 23. But you know what? I guess that just means that the team has been playing really well together. And the Phoenix Suns, I remember I told y'all they were going to be really, really nice. James Harden actually jumped up to an 88, and he's averaging 17 points and 10 assists. So yeah, and he's also shooting 50%. So you already know that they're going to be playing really well if he's shooting that good. They also have some defensive anchors on the team with Colin Sexton, Lou Dort, and Jared Vanderbilt. And of course, add that all up together and throw in Nikola Jokic, you have yourself a contender. And here up next, we have the Los Angeles Lakers. This team is completely shocking to me. I have no idea how they're this far up. And you know what? Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, their defense is probably out of this world. And the Portland Trailblazers, who are pretty much just Indiana 2.0, are also the fourth seed. And you know what? We have to check who's at the bottom of the conference. We have the Utah Jazz with who? I forgot who's playing for the squad. Oh yeah, that's right. Kevin Durant, Jared Allen, and Anthony Simons. Those are the three best players on this team. And yeah, this would be one of the few times I would not mind if Kevin Durant requested a trade, because yeah, you got to get up and out of there at this point. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot to mention, but if you are enjoying this video so far and you want to see more, you should definitely consider subscribing, since I am hoping to hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of this year. And at the end of the regular season, we have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander winning Most Valuable Player. And good lord, this guy's stats are absolutely ridiculous. He averaged 35 points, 7 rebounds, and 9 assists a game. And he did all that while almost shooting 50, 40, 90 and leading his team to the first seed in the East. And up next, we have Victor Wembanyama winning Rookie of the Year. Lonzo Ball is surprisingly 6th Man of the Year. And we also have Victor pulling away with DPOY as well. And outside of that, Trey Mann's Most Improved. Jason Tatum actually won Clutch Player of the Year. That's, you know what? Hey, good for him. I'm kind of happy he won an award this season. I feel like I don't really see him win anything too often. But anyway, All NBA First Team, of course, we do have Shai. Nikola Jokic, wow, this guy's stats were absolutely ridiculous. He averaged 30 points, 14 rebounds, and 9 assists a game. You know, I might have to retract what I said previously with Shai being unanimous MVP. He probably still was, if, you know, they keep track of that. But I mean, Jokic's stats were absolutely insane as well. And of course, we also have Luka, Victor, and Tyrese. I wonder how Tyrese played. He averaged 26 and 11. That's really, really good. But anyway, moving over to the playoffs, I need to go ahead and simulate the play-in tournament just to see who makes it in and who gets eliminated. Our very first matchup of the postseason, we have the Indiana Pacers going up against the Washington Wizards. And honestly, at this point, I don't really know who I'm going to be rooting for, because Anthony Edwards, he's an absolute demon, and I kind of want to see him win a ring this season. But you know what? In game number 1, let's see who pulls out with the victory. Washington has been leading this entire game, and you know what? It looks like they are going to pull away. And because injuries are turned off, Jimmy Butler is making his playoff debut. He had 26 points, 4 rebounds, and 11 assists. And on the other hand, we had Anthony Edwards with 31, 5, and 5. And if I'm going to be honest, I feel like this series is going to reach 7 games. And up next, we have the New York Knicks facing off against the Milwaukee Bucks. Again, this is more than likely going to be a really competitive series, but I definitely think New York is going to have Milwaukee's number. And yeah, after simulating game 1, that definitely seems to be the case. De'Aaron Fox had 38 points, 4 rebounds, and 6 26 assists. Bam Adebayo had a really good game with 34, 7, and 5. And you know what, Giannis, I mean, he tried to pull away with the victory this game, but he just couldn't carry his team hard enough. But you know what, that is definitely understandable. And I just noticed they also traded for Bobby Portis. And finally making our way over to the Western Conference, it's the San Antonio Spurs facing off against the Portland Trailblazers. I feel like this is one of the few times we actually have San Antonio in the postseason, so I'm going to be rooting for them. But I guess you could say the very same thing about Portland. So at this point, I don't really think I have a team that I'm going to be rooting for. But in their very first matchup, it looks like it is going to be Portland pulling away. Tyrese Halliburton had 32.6 rebounds and 19 assists. And Stephen Curry had a really nice game as well with 26, 3, and 5. And you know what? Because there are so many series for us to go over, I'm just going to go ahead and simulate to the second round. And the 4 teams in the Eastern Conference who managed to pull away were the Cleveland Cavaliers, New York Knicks, Boston Celtics, and Indiana Pacers. And I remember saying that this Washington series was going to go to 7 games, and it looks like I was correct. And your second round contenders in the Western Conference are the Los Angeles Lakers, OKC Thunder, Portland Trailblazers, and New Orleans Pelicans. And I just realized the Phoenix Suns got eliminated in the first round by Devin Booker. And looking at his stats, he averaged nearly 40 points this series. So I wonder if he dropped 60 at some point. In this game, he had 51. And if I'm going to be honest, I'm pretty disappointed in James Harden and Nikola Jokic because I thought they were going to absolutely steamroll everyone in their path. But you know what? Sometimes in 2K simulation, you cannot bet on the team that makes the most sense. And in game number 1 of the Portland and New Orleans series, we have a really close battle. And at the end of the game, Portland ended up winning by only 1 point. Tyrese had 36, 4, and 7. Pascal also had a 30 piece. There was Devin Booker with 55 points, 3 rebounds, and 8 assists. Oh my goodness, this guy is absolutely ridiculous. And heading over to Boston, the Indiana Pacers are absolutely rolling over this team. And yeah, it looks like they're going to win this game by 16 points. Luka had 28, 11, and 12. And there's Jimmy Butler with 37, 6, and 5. But all right, the Los Angeles Lakers do have home court advantage. The OKC Thunder are definitely hoping that they can steal a game, but it looks like they are definitely not going to do that. LeBron James, even though he's like 40 or 50 years old by this point, he had 33 points, 10 rebounds, and 15 assists. And there's Lauri Markkanen with 29 points and 9 rebounds. And it looks like Tyrese Maxey had an absolute stinker. He only had 11 points on 2 for 12 shooting. But you know what? I'm sure he's definitely going to bounce back in game number 2. And over here in the East, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers going up against the New York Knicks. I didn't realize that we were about to have this good of a series this early in the video because, I mean, I feel like both of these teams are really, really good. And with 26 seconds remaining, the Cleveland Cavaliers are only up by 2 points. And yeah, as you can see, New York definitely had to foul right there. But hey, now it's time for the MVP of the league to shoot some clutch free throws. Will he knock down the first one? Of course it's good. Now, if he can make this shot as well, that will probably seal the game, but there is a chance that the Knicks can come back. But all right, let's see. Will he make the second one? Yep, down it goes. And all right, at this point, I'm pretty sure they are going to pass it to De'Aaron Fox. Here he is at the top of the key. He's more than likely going to be receiving a screen here soon. And yeah, here comes Bam Adebayo. He's driving to the basket. He actually pulls up for a 3-point shot, and that is no good. Rudy Gobert gets the rebound, and yeah, the game is probably over. And just like that, we have Cleveland winning this series 1-0. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and simulate a couple of games further so we can have a general idea on how all the series are going. And at this point, we have 3 series where the leading team is sitting 2-1, but that is with the exception of the Los Angeles Lakers, as they are leading their series 3-0. And over here in New Orleans, let's see who's going to pull out with a win in game number 4. It's looking like it's going to be the Portland Trailblazers, and Devin Booker dropped 42 points, 3 rebounds, and 5 assists. And on the other side of the spectrum, we had Tyrese Halliburton with 28, 3, and 15. And at this point, Indiana is up 2-1. I'm kind of hoping that they can upset Boston, and it looks like they are going to do so to go up 3-1. And back in the Western Conference, the Lakers are heading towards a sweep. Can they get it done in only 4 games? Let's find out. It looks like that is definitely not going to happen. Despite the loss, LeBron James had 37 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists. And I mean, the OKC Thunder definitely were the better team this game, as they had multiple people in double figures. If I remember correctly, New York is down 2-1, but they do end up tying the series. De'Aaron Fox and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander both had 36 this game. And you know what? Let me go ahead and simulate a little bit further. It looks like OKC did get eliminated. And you know what? I'm pretty sure the Pelicans are going to pull away. And there you have it. The Portland Trailblazers have been eliminated. And at this point, Devin Booker has been on by far the best best playoff run we've seen so far. But Tyrese Halliburton definitely was a contender in that category as well. And back in Indiana, it looks like the Boston Celtics are going to be eliminated. Jimmy Butler and Luka Doncic both went on a 30-point duel, but it looks like the Pacers were just the better team. And in order to progress to the conference finals this early, the Cavs are going to have to win a game at the Garden. And you know what? In the fourth quarter, I'm pretty sure they are going to get it done. And yeah, just like that, the New York Knicks have been eliminated. And in our Eastern Conference Finals matchup, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers going up against the Indiana Pacers. I don't really know if we've seen Indiana win a championship in any of these videos that I've been making so far, so I'm definitely going to be rooting for them to win the East. And in their first game against Cleveland, they are just getting absolutely dog walked. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had 59 points, 4 rebounds, and 9 assists. That is an absolutely historic performance. And I mean, Jimmy Butler had a really good game as well, as he had 33 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists. But making our way to the West, we have Devin Booker's New Orleans Pelicans facing off against LeBron James on the Lakers. And if you've been paying attention to this video so far, you would know Devin Booker is on an absolute tear right now. And in order to make it to the NBA Finals, that production level is definitely going to have to stay the same, if not increase. And I mean, this Lakers team, they have Patrick Beverley, Alex Caruso, OG Anunoby, LeBron James, and Jaren Jackson Jr. all a part of the starting 5. There are 27 seconds remaining, and the Pelicans do have possession. They pass it back into Jalen Terry, and so far he's just dribbling out the shot clock. I highly recommend giving the basketball to Devin Booker, but he is being guarded by Alex Caruso. And here comes the screen from Ivica Zubac. Jalen Terry, he is dribbling out the shot clock even more. He has to put a shot up, and that goes over LeBron James, and they do get the rebound to call the timeout. I have no idea what they were doing that possession, but you know, maybe it somehow will work in their favor. I don't know. There's no way for that to work in their favor. But all right, they only have 2 seconds left, so what are the possibilities of them scoring right here? I have no idea, but let's find out. Don't give it to Patrick Beverley. Give it to someone like LeBron James. But you know what? There goes Pat Bev with a 3-pointer, and that is no good. And it looks like the Los Angeles Lakers are going to win it in overtime. LeBron James had 44 points, 11 rebounds, and 12 assists. And did Devin Booker have 60? I feel like he had 60. Okay, no, he only had 30 points, 4 rebounds, and 10 assists. And let me go ahead and simulate a couple of games further. The Cleveland Cavaliers are currently up 3-0 against the Pacers. Meanwhile, on the other hand, the Pelicans are only winning 2 games to 1. But you know what? Let me go ahead and see if I can simulate to the NBA Finals. Over here in the West, the series is tied 2-2. The Pelicans win the next game in the series. And you know what? Let's see if they can get it done in 6. So far, everything is going their way, and they also have home court advantage. And you know what? That's going to do it. The Los Angeles Lakers have been eliminated. Devin Booker is Western Conference Finals MVP, and I'm assuming Shai won the other one as well. And yes, of course he did. Both of these guys averaged nearly 40 points in their playoff series. I'm actually really happy we got this matchup just because both of these guys have been absolutely insane. So I'm really excited to see who's going to win it all. I'm pretty sure the favorite definitely is Cleveland, but if the Pelicans can actually pull up with an upset, that will be absolutely crazy. And in game number 1, it looks like it's going to go Cleveland's way. Shai dropped 38 points, 5 rebounds, and 10 assists. And there's Devin Booker with 45, 8, and 6. And all right, in game number 2, can the Pelicans bounce back to tie the series? And it looks like they're not going to do so, as they lost by nearly 21 points. And all right, there are 14 seconds remaining, and the game is tied. Cavs do have possession. Here's Devin Booker guarding Shai. He is sitting top of the key. I'm assuming he's either going to ISO or receive a screen here soon. But anyway, there he is going down the lane. He passes it back out to Saddiq Bey, who knocks down the 3. Just like that, with 0.3 of a second remaining, the Pelicans are down by 3 points. And I mean, do they even have enough time to get a shot off? I have no idea, but you know what? It's worth a shot. All right, let's see it. Who's going to receive the basketball? There it is to Devin Booker. He definitely did not get that off, but he ended up making it though. And just like that, Cleveland leads the series 3-0. I feel like the only person who could come back from this deficit would be LeBron James, and that's kind of ironic because he would be playing the Cavs. And in game number 4, the Cavs are down by 3. They have 2 seconds remaining. Oh my god, what did I just watch? I couldn't even commentate. What just happened? Okay, I hate to go back at instant replay because this whole thing's kind of, it might look a little funny, but he passed it over to Gobert, gave it to, is that Derrick Jones Jr.? Derrick Jones Jr. really just hit the game-winning, or not the game-winning 3, he did tie it, and they may or may not go to overtime. Yeah, the Pelicans, they don't have a timeout, but there's Devin Booker. He almost made a full court shot. And all right, in overtime, the Pelicans are up by 6. But it looks like New Orleans will run away with it. Devin Devin Booker had 39.6 rebounds and 9 assists. Meanwhile, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had 46 and 20. That might be the greatest NBA Finals performance of all time. And just like that, the series is sitting 3-1. You know what? In is this game number 5? The Pelicans just absolutely dog rolled the Cavs. Shai had 39, 8 and 7. Devin Booker had 33. I mean, they both have really good games, but I mean, I'm surprised the Pelicans are actually making an effort to come back in this series. And it looks like Cleveland finally had enough, as they were winning this game by 8 points. And in the NBA Finals, the Cleveland Cavaliers are your new NBA champions. The Finals MVP award, of course, ends up going to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And like I said, LeBron would probably be the only player that I could imagine coming back in this series. And speaking of LeBron, you should definitely go check out my most recent upload where we put him on every single team in the NBA. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. I'm out.